included by the 21st Amendment. Right. Then that was in 1967. Right. So 21st in 1967. Then Kokni. Right. Manipuri and Nepali. Right. Kokni, Manipuri and Nepali. Good, Aditya. That were in the 71st Amendment, that was in 1992. That amendment was. Right. And then the one more I can Bodo, then Dongri, then Maithili or Mathili, and Santhali. So these 4 languages which we can consider. Even Russians, right? So that is the case. Yes, Sudeep, that is right. So we can have. But again, on that, there would be the different arguments nowadays in the yes, Kati, likewise Japanese, and then the Korea is also. So these are the things which we can consider. So I was talking about the Hindi language. So nowadays you might be seeing some sort of arguments on social media, right? So you should not pay that attention as far as it is in this particular case. Right? So this is all about the 8th schedule, right? So the description of the 2022 like the Constitution, right? So that is of 8th schedule. Then 9th schedule. Here we can have 8th, 9th schedule. So what about the 9th schedule is? So it is about acts and regulations, right? Of the state legislatures dealing with the land reforms and abolition of the zamindari system, and the parliamentary dealing with the other matters, right? So though it is a huge or let's say what I can say large, I will cut it down and I can write here validation of what? So there is a provision of validation of certain acts and regulations, right? So acts and regulations. But what these certain acts and regulations which we can consider, right? So very first thing, this schedule was included, right? As I said, originally 8 were there. Now the schedules which we can consider. The 9th schedule was included in the Constitution, right? By first amendment, right? Right, by the first amendment. Yes, so we can call it as human rights. First amendment, that was in 1950. Fine. So for what? To protect, right? To protect the laws included in it in the let's say judicial scrutiny on the ground of violation of the fundamental rights, right? So these are the things which we can consider, right? So protect the laws included in this schedule in it, by whom judicial scrutiny, SCRUTI, judicial scrutiny. आपल्याला वाटलं म्हणून आपण नाही टाकायचं. Right? So it will be by judicial scrutiny. And what would be the base for that? On the ground of violation of fundamental rights. Right. So this would be the thing which we can consider. Right. So what exactly this we can consider, right? So this is nothing but the first amendments. So validation of certain acts and regulations. Now there are a lot of things in this which we can consider, right? So whatever, let's say after 1973, which are not valid, so that itself is being told by the Supreme Court. So in 2007, Supreme Court ruled out the laws which are included in this schedule after 1973, exactly 24th April 1973. So till 24th April 1973, whatever may be the laws which have included in this schedule, they are open, right, to judicial review. But later on, whatever included, that is not, right? So that are not valid, right? So the judicial review is, the scrutiny is important of that particular rules or the acts, right? So that is about this particular schedule which we can consider. Got it? So the validation of certain acts and the regulations to protect the laws which are included in the schedule, in this schedule, from or by judicial scrutiny on the basis of the violation of fundamental rights, right? So होत असेल तर ह्याच्यामध्ये टाकता येतं जेणेकरून fundamental rights will not get violated, right? So that will be the case which we can have. Fine. I think, okay, anyway, I will. So the next one, right? Now 10th schedule. So what about 10th schedule, right? So if you see the provisions in the 10th schedule, so that is related to the member of parliament. So provisions related to the disqualification of the members of parliament as well as state legislatures, right? So on the basis of, on the ground of defection, right? So what we can consider about this particular is Right. So related to the disqualification on the of the members of parliament. Yes, it is on parliament and state legislatures on the basis of defection. Right. So that we can consider. That means what we will understand from this word defection. Right. So it is nothing but the desertion of one's country, right, or the cause in favor of opposing one. For example, helping out Pakistan, helping out the opposing of our country, right? So that is called defection. So desertion of one's country, desertion oppose, right? So the opposing, the cause in favor of opposition म्हणण्यापेक्षा cause in favor of the opposing one, right? दुसऱ्याला कोणाला काहीतरी फायदा होईल जो आपला विरोधी आहे आपला ऍज अ नेशन, राईट. सो त्याच्या विरोधात म्हणजे त्याला फायदा होईल असं काही करणाऱ्याला डिस्क्वालिफाय करता येतं, राईट. सो दॅट इज in this particular schedule. Now if you consider this schedule, right, which was added by 52nd amendment, right, which was happened in the 1985, right. This is also known as keep in mind this shabd, this word anti-defection law. Anti-defection law, right? So also known as anti-defection law, which we can have, or it's a part we do have, right? So this is about the 10th schedule, which was included in 52nd amendment in 1985, right, known as anti-defection law, which is very important if we consider the things, right? So next one, that is 11th schedule. Fine. Just a minute. Okay, 11th schedule, which we can consider. I think I'm hesitating to move it, but I feel that I have shadow on the paper. Anyway, we'll try. Okay, that's fine. So 11th schedule. What about this 11th schedule is? So it has provisions to specify the powers, authority, and responsibilities of panchayats, right? So specifies the powers, then authority and responsibilities. Yes, so yes, I mean that is all about the rural areas, right, for its inclusive development. Responsibilities right, of panchayat. So when we say panchayat, so that is What has happened? Yes, I will check it out. I think I have to move again. Anyway, now I will bring it below the. Okay, if it is okay, then I don't have to move on. Fine. So specifies the powers, authority, and the. Thank you, Abhijit. So specifies the powers, authority, and the responsibilities of panchayats. Right. So here, if you consider the subjects, how many subjects are there? Right. So altogether, there are 29 subjects in this particular schedule, which are related to the panchayats. Right. So 20, or you can consider 29 matters. Right. Over which the panchayats have their jurisdiction. Right. So these are 29 subjects on which panchayats are having their jurisdiction over. You can write which panchayat has their jurisdiction. Fine. And this was included, right? This particular schedule was added in the Constitution by 73rd Amendment, which was taken in 1992, right? So 1992, this was there. Then I think last one, that is 12th schedule, which is related to again the powers, authority, and responsibilities of municipalities, right? So it specifies, yes, it is all about urban government or urban areas government. That's fine. I mean, specifies the powers, authorities, and responsibilities of municipalities. Yes, 74th amendment, that's fine. Who was it? Sahil, that's good, Sahil. Municipalities, right? So basically here there are 18 subjects as like 29 subjects for panchayats, right? Over which excuse me, yes, it has all 18 matters, or we can consider as subjects on which the municipality have their jurisdiction, right? Over which, as I have written here, municipalities have their jurisdiction. Fine. So this is about this, and it was included or added to the Constitution by 74th Amendment, which was taken in 1992. Right, in the same year, two amendments, 73rd and 74th. Right, so these are the different things which we can have. Right, so altogether, these are the different schedules which do have. Right, so I will show say you once a while the features of our constitution. Right? So some of the features of Indian constitution. Very first feature, the articles of the constitutions. If you want, then I will always go through, right? Or I will be planning to go through the articles and parts. So once a while, if you go parts, that means you are going through articles, right? But not from, let's say, for example, first part, which is related to the first part is nothing but for article 1 to 4. So there are first four articles which are in the part 1, right? And that are related to the subject of these articles is the union and its territory. Then if you consider article 5 to 14, right? So in this way I will be going through. Article 5 to 14 is about citizenship, right? So how citizenship can be given, or how you can claim the citizenship, also how can your citizenship can be withdrawn, right? Then from that is nothing but the part 2 of your constitution. For example, one more, if I tell you, part 3, which is having articles from 12 to 35. And then what these articles are including, fundamental rights are there, right? So these fundamental rights can be suspended also. So that part is, this is, that's, Samin, your question is very good. But I don't know whether I should go with it or not, because I know some of you will get tired with that particular part. But in my opinion, at least in this way, for example, whatever I said right now, right? So citizenship means what we can have, or at least as an introduction. Once a while, if you hear, that would be always better. So depending on it's your wish or will to get it or hear it. So that would be the case, right? And from my side, I wish to go through them, right? At least that will make you introduce with the complete what it is, right? Anyway, so I was talking about the features of the Constitution of India. So, India's constitution is the lengthiest and the most comprehensive of all the written constitutions. Keep in mind, written constitutions, right, of the world. Second thing, as I said, originally it was having 395 articles, 22 parts, and 8 schedules, which are now having 448 articles, 25 parts, and 12 schedules, right, that we have seen right now. That is also a I got disturbed 4 times by some calls. Anyway, so unlike the federal constitutions, the next feature we can consider, right, which is unlike the federal constitutions such as USA and Australia, the Indian constitution is laying down the provisions which are related to the governmental machineries, right, not only in the center but also in the states. I think once a while I said that in USA, what has happened, though related to lockdown, right? So some of the provinces, some of the parts have locked down earlier, some have extended, and in the last, right, I think there were some of the provinces which was the world's last part of being locked down. Right? That means what? So in that particular case, the same case is in Australia, right? Yes. So the same case is of Australia. That means what? So USA and Australia, they are having the provisions which are related to the government, right? Related to government only in the center, not in the states. But our constitution is having the provisions which are laying down by the government, right? Both state as well as union, or the center as well as the state governments, right? So this is also a feature, fine. So if we consider so-called developed, or which are we always seem to these countries, right? So we do have our own answers, right? So that could be the thing which we can consider. I will tell you one example. right, why it is being considered. So though we are considering it as a feature as compared to USA and Australia. So here question comes in why we should compare ourselves with the USA and Australia. The same thing has been happened, and recently it was raised by uh, Congress former President Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Right? So he was having a chat with the Rajiv Bajaj, MD Bajaj, what you can say, Industries. Right? And in that particular, in their conversation, there was a statement: why every time, or why we should wait for the things which are coming by USA, or what USA is following in this pandemic? Why we don't have our own solutions? And he extended that not only for this particular pandemic situation, but also for most of the solutions. So why we should follow them? Why we should look towards them? Right. So from this particular thing, this has also come. Right. Unnecessarily, it is being said that uh, as compared to. But if you see, uh, many times you have to always do the comparative studies. Right. So this is the comparison. Comparison is that these two countries are having the provisions related to the execution or the machinery or governmental machineries, right, which we can consider uh, for centers only. But here we do have both. So this could be the one more feature. Then apart from this, our constitution is also providing the matters of administrative detail, right? So the feature of Indian constitution is it is providing a matter, right, which is in detail related to the administration. So administrative matter of administrative details is also the feature of our constitution. The next feature we can consider is the Constitution of India containing the detailed provisions which are related to the center and state relations, right, including the emergency provisions. So our constitution is detailing the provisions related to the relations in between center and the state, which are called state and center relations. So this is also a provision in our constitution. Then our constitution was having, now I will be saying was having, which is also a called as a feature, right? So the special status has been given to some of the states. So special status has been given to the Jammu and Kashmir, right? This is we all are knowing now. But apart from these two things, or apart from this particular state, it was also given, rather it is given, or it is currently there, right, to some other states which are at northeastern India. For example, Nagaland, Mizoram, Assam. So accordingly, try to influence that particular. That is always a question of perseverance. You have to always persevere. Now, the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, you know what has happened, right, in that case. But still, it is for Nagaland, Assam, and Nagaland, Assam, Mizoram, and I think Gujarat. So, things which then, what is the best feature of Indian Constitution? So, under the Constitution, the people of India are the ultimate sovereign, right? So this is the best feature which we can have, or right, in state as well as that feature. Sufficiently. Once you write, it is always there. No, that's the reason why last time you do have we can consider. Another feature which is related to the fundamental rights. So our constitution declares certain fundamental rights individual. So that is some of the features, right? Before continuing this in this way, right? If anybody some then you can ask it, right? We are entering in last few minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, right? And if you have no things, I will be just introducing you to the some of the features what we can consider, right? So next feature we can consider here is our constitution that makes the citizens duties a part of basic law of the land, right? So whatever may be the duties, which is a basic feature of the one of the important related to the of that is मूलभूत काय असू शकते. So this is but the one of the most important features there, right? So this can be again one of the most important features which we do have. Then we can have here the distribution or we can distribute the legislative subjects on which the parliament and the state legislature can uh, union and two things in or that means we can